Okay, so now here's a very direct question for you. Will Hagerty get into this space?
How's the weather? I don't know. It would be just speculation on my part.
Okay.
I don't think I would be surprised if it happened. I think there's a lot of opportunities out there, and
I would be surprised if it didn't. Would you think or liken it to like the Bring a Trailer is the YouTube of the classic car world where like the Bonhams and the Gooding and the RM, the Jacobs, the Davids, and the Rob Meyers are the old Hollywood institution that would pick and choose the winners. Is it like that, or am I being too philosophical?
yeah, I think you're being too philosophical.
I
and
wanted to sound smart there.
Maybe a little conspiratorial as well. So,
I am from New York.
well,
so
that's okay. It goes hand in hand. We need to think of Bring a Trailer and the others as the great disruptors in the auction company because, left to their own devices, I would think auction companies would just go on and on and on ad nauseum doing the same thing. But now this format has been proven. So I think what we're going to have coming up now is going to be a hybrid. We're going to see more of these auctions that might have an element where you bid for a long time on a description that's in there, and then the final day they have an auction which ends it just like a traditional auction. Or they might just go like Geared Online is doing for Gooding. It's going to be no.
Who is Geared On? Is that a separate company or
No,
is that just their
they
brand?
they call their online sales Geared Online.
Okay.
So a timed auction ending, and usually with those things, if somebody bids within the last 30 seconds, then it extends the time out. I do not like that at all. That really frustrates me.
Well, it avoids the sniping.
Well, it does
Yeah.
avoid the sniping, but I just love the fact that when the hammer falls, then normally, and 99.99% out of 100, then that car is passed or sold. But now that can go on for a pretty long time.
So, would you say that Bring a Trailer and their ilk are more like the Southwest to the aviation industry? This is to the auction industry?
Yeah, it's not a bad analogy. Maybe
Okay.
JetBlue, but
Because of the TVs.
no, they sell
sell.
mint cars. That's an inside.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
Sorry. Um,
So, what can we expect from this genre as it moves forward?
it's change. It's going to change. It's a disruptor, so it means that you're going to see an RM or a Gooding or there's a new auction company coming out, or I assume it's going to be an auction company, but
Who's behind it?
that'd be Ian Kelleher.
Oh, he was an arm for like a gazillion years.
Right, exactly, and
Super tall guy.
yeah, Donnie Gould,
Also RM many years.
Alan Squindo.
Didn't he run Donnie? Didn't he run Auctions America? Where they
Yes.
bought that out of
Yeah.
Cruise?
Right, exactly. So, I mean, there's some real talent there, and but they have not announced yet that they're going to be an auction company. They have private sales, but not wink, wink. I think that reading between the lines, they're going to be involved in the auction business, and this is a time for them to be a hybrid auction company. They might not rent the tent, they might not rent the hotel ballroom. I don't know. They might, be able to do some of these sales kind of a little bit of mix of online and in person.
So that begs the question: what is going on at RM where everybody that works there goes and sets up a competition with Rob? Everybody.
Well, I mean, keep in mind it's not
David
Rob
Good-
anymore. It's Sotheby's.
Sotheby's
and
now,
RM.
but
So
first it was Rob, first it was David, then it was Max, the guy Max Girardo, and now Ian and Donnie and this other guy.
But yeah, I mean, but you can look at any business, and there's always turnover. I can't specifically say there's one reason. It's kind of a regression. Maybe these guys decide that they can do it better, or they can do it cheaper, or they just want to work on their own.
Or maybe RM is literally the city on the hill, and it's the one everybody's going after because it's the biggest at this point, isn't it?
They've got the backing of Sotheby's, and RM's a great auction venue. They have their sale at Amelia Island and their sale at Pebble Beach are always fantastic, and then they'll be at Scottsdale this year and all that sort of stuff. I have nothing bad to say about any auction company. They're all there for a reason. They're all there for a purpose. It's good to see this disruptive force in it because, I mean, it might not be for the people running the auctions, but it means that the stuff is maturing.
There is a value of Sotheby's taking over RM because they've been in this business for so much longer. Is there a value to a hearse taking over a bringer trailer?
That's a really interesting question. I don't see that, but then again, I'm not involved in the inner workings of Hearst or Bring a Trailer. I know that Randy Nonenberg, one of the two founders, is still working there and still, kind of in control, and they're still doing a great job at what they're doing. There'll be a number 2 and a number 3 behind them. Right now, there's Hemmings is probably the number 2, which does a good job and has been growing. But for somebody who's really active and really understands the auction business. I think there's a lot of money to be made in it. Actually, it's not just that they make $99; they make it on the sale. Their maximum is $5,000, but you do 17 auctions a day and you net $3,000 each or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
But I'm not seeing the Pepsi to their Coke.
That's right. There will be a Pepsi.
But there's been a lot of people that have tried. Like, I know of a buddy, we have a mutual friend that tried and his wasn't successful. And then there's some other folks that have been talking about getting into the space. I don't know if we should discuss them on camera, but well-known personalities in the classic car world have said we want to get into the classic car auction business, and they're not necessarily doing the bring-a-trailer thing where they're creating the technology themselves. They're looking to license, say, like a Hemmings technology, because they have a white label solution as well. Do you see that being a thing?
Yes, but I will say that, it sounds a lot easier than it is. For every Coke and Pepsi, there's, a dozen, Rolo Colas, whatever, that just go nowhere. So, I mean, it's not unusual that it would take time for these things to sort themselves out. The beauty of and the strength of Bring a Trailer's community, that community was not built overnight. I mean, it took years for them to develop that community. And, it's easy to disparage it. And yes, there's people who say idiotic things, and yes, there's all that sort of stuff, and it's frustrating. I have sold a car and Bring a Trailer, and trust me, it's frustrating, and you have to kind of de-self. Don't take it personally, I guess. And everyone's a keyboard warrior, and they can say whatever they want. You have a guy who makes 78 comments, and then they don't bid once, and you find out they're the guy living in their mom's basement. So.
I would argue that's more akin to the Facebook and the YouTubes of the world. The reason why those platforms are A, successful, and B, frankly, won't get dethroned like other technology plays in the past have, they've built a foundation on those communities. And those communities are now so vibrant, they actually buoy the platform. And I would argue maybe that's what's missing from Geared, from Gooding, or RM from getting into the same space. Perhaps they need to figure out how to do the social part of it, not just the actual selling cars and making the VIG on the cars. Am I missing something there?
No, I don't. I think you're absolutely right. But, it's funny that you mentioned Facebook, because what's the Pepsi to Facebook? I mean, Instagram, and they're owned by Facebook.
They own Pepsi, they own Shasta,
right?
They own Hydrox, they own everything.
They own Hydrox?
Something like it, yeah.
Good thing they don't own Oreos, because then that'd be a bridge too far. But
do you think there's any value to having the editorial mixed in with the auction platform, like with the Hearst?
Man, what a question. All information is good. You have to sort through it, though. And
you haven't been watching much of the news lately, have you?
Well, no. The more information you have, the better informed you can be. Not that you are going to take all the information. And of course, the smart people take this information and file it here under wasted time, and this other stuff is valuable. But yeah, I think so. But it would be nice to think that there would be a trusted auction house, and I know there's a whole bunch of people rolling their eyes right now because auction houses are not necessarily loved. For some people they're a necessary evil. I bought a car at an auction not too terribly long ago that was misrepresented, and I kicked it, and it was RM, and it was said to be something that it wasn't, and nobody caught it. It was a car that was made into a supercharged car that was not a supercharged car when it left the factory, and it was represented as a factory supercharged car. One phone call, gone. I mean, it was
it fixed it. You don't have to take
the hilarious thing was I paid $23 for it. They ran it again. They sold it for $29. All is good, right? So and that's fine.
Okay, so now here's a very direct question for you: will Hagerty get into this space?
How's the weather? I don't know. It would be just speculation on my part.
Okay.
I don't think I would be surprised if it happened. I think there's a lot of opportunities out there, and
I would be surprised if it didn't happen.
well, they have a lot of bandwidth. I mean, they've got a lot of employees,
got
and they've got a
everything,
lot
yeah.
of information, and it would just make sense. No, I really don't know, but
Yeah. I feel
know,
like
and
you guys have become the River Rouge of the classic car world. That's who you are at this
do
point.
we have like a sedum roof now, where we're
It's exactly what you've got, yeah.
oh, boy,
I haven't been to Traverse City lately, so I haven't seen the roof yet.
Well, but that's an inside joke. I'm wondering.
That is really inside
yeah,
baseball, yeah.
Thank you.
Only people that probably live in Dearborn would get that joke.
No, I don't live in Dearborn, and you don't either.
That's
and
true, but
we're
how
both-
many F-150s do you have?
Only one at a time,
Yeah,
but boy,
exactly.
I've had a lot of
You've
them.
had a lot
so-
of them. Any others do you see coming into this space?
Wow. I think it's going to be somebody who comes out of left field. I think it's going to be somebody who is, possibly incredibly adept at tech, who will be able to do it. Trust takes a while to build. I think that that's the reason why Hemmings, a very trusted source in automotive. I mean, they were ad Nazis. I mean, back in the day,
They were.
You would, you sold a bad car to somebody, and that person can prove it. You're never going to advertise with
But
them
bringing
again.
this conversation full circle, I have never, ever thought to go to Hemmings. Ever.
Really?
Not in my life once. You will look in my browser history, you will see Siberian Husky porn, you will see Pontiac porn, you will see some plane porn, but nothing from Hemmings.
Yeah. And by plane, you mean Plane, not Plain. I just want everybody to know that.
Okay, so
yeah.
on that note, this is where we turn this around to the audience and ask where they think this industry is going.
Great question.
Will there be a new entrant? Who's going to be the Pepsi to the Coke that is Bring a Trailer? Is there going to be a new entrant, and who do you think it's going to be, Hagerty or somebody else? Or are we missing something completely, and there's going to be a whole new direction in this industry? Let us know in the comments below or via our social media, MotoMan TV, all one word, MotoMan TV, all one word, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And with that, a couple of things. You and I are going to do a couple more episodes. One of them is kind of going to be a companion piece to this one in how you choose the platform in which to take your car.
You'd be amazed at the amount of times I've got that question asked.
But it's
me.
hugely important
Yeah,
because
it is.
it's a rather huge financial swing.
I would definitely invest another 20 minutes into listening to us talking about that.
So we will do that right after we turn off the camera from this. But what we're going to say now is you can find this man at Twitter, whatever you call it, Twitter, DH Kinney, Kinney.
I'm also on Facebook as Dave Kinney.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
I
oh, yeah.
did not know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm very active on Facebook. If you want bad dad jokes, come to me. I got 'em.
Or if you want to know too much about Avantis, this is your man here.
Or if you want to know too much about Bentleys and Subaru
He does.
STI
Actually,
WRXs.
he just bought an STI. I can't
I bought a
believe it.
Volkswagen Beetle here last week.
But that's actually pretty cool. And we're going to do something with that car.
Okay.
We're going to do a series with that car where we're going to drive it and we're
Yeah.
going to sell it, but not right now.
Yeah.
We're giving away too much. Anyway, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Until we see you then, bis später.